It's the moment Victorians had been waiting for.
The truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
But still no answer to the $3 million question.
And the evidence is to the effect that no one's claiming ownership of the decision, even though no one seems to have spoken against it at the time, and no one who might have been the decision maker seems to suggest that if it had been them, it would have been a bad decision. There's just no one who says it was them. You're aware of that?
I am.
Do you know who it was?
No, I don't.
The Premier is the latest in a long line not to know. Counsel Assisting Rachel Ellyard clearly frustrated by the answer.
Because we really should know, shouldn't we? We should be able to say who made a decision to not only spend that much money, but to give such an important function in this infection control program.
Yes, it's one of a number of very important questions, yes.
One thing the Premier did know about was ADF support or lack thereof. Mr Andrews claiming he left a National Cabinet meeting with absolutely no expectation whatsoever there would be significant and extensive ADF support. When an explicit offer was made to his office, he wasn't alerted.
Given that it's so at odds with what I took away from the National Cabinet meeting, I think it would have been very significant to me. And I can't predict what outcome it might have had, but I certainly would have wanted to know, because it would have presented us with options that we otherwise didn't have.
Another important question: who exactly was responsible? The Premier told the inquiry he has ultimate responsibility, and while Jobs Minister Martin Pakula bore some, the majority was with Health Minister Jenny Mikakos.
Does it concern you, Premier, that the Secretary of the Department and the Minister who you've given evidence you saw as having accountability seem to have not seen themselves as having accountability in the same way?
Yes.
After more than 2.5 hours being grilled in the hot seat, Premier Daniel Andrews had nothing left to offer aside from this apology.
I want to make it very clear to each and every member of the Victorian community that I am sorry for what has occurred here, and I want to issue an unreserved apology to all Victorians.
There are over 750 grieving Victorian families who've lost loved ones because of Labor's second wave of coronavirus. And those people were entitled to answers, they were entitled to the truth. And appallingly, Andrews gave none of that.
Premier Daniel Andrews was the final witness the hotel quarantine inquiry will hear from before closing submissions are made next week. A final report will be handed to the government in November. Patrick Murrell, Sky News, Melbourne.